Hello, John here. If you've enjoyed our Christmas ghost stories over the years, you may have wondered why the ghosts should have to wait until December. Well, they don't. Fireside Ghost Stories is our subscription series of original supernatural tales, with a brand new story arriving every month, so there's 7 of them now. Strange houses, old secrets, things in the darkness that really ought to have stayed there, all written and produced in the tradition of the classic Fireside Ghost Story. And this month we're heading to a Yorkshire grouse moor on the glorious 12th of August, 1910. Although, as you're about to hear, there's precious little glorious about it. Here is a taste of a most inglorious 12th. Before we begin tonight's tale, a word of introduction for those who may be unfamiliar with a peculiarly English tradition. The 12th of August is known in certain circles as the Glorious 12th. It's the date on which the shooting of red grouse becomes legal in Britain, and it has been observed with considerable ceremony and not inconsiderable self-congratulation since the middle of the 19th century, when the arrival of the breech-loading shotgun made driven shooting not merely possible, but fashionable among those with the land, the leisure, and the willingness to spend a great deal of money on both. On great moorland estates across Scotland, Yorkshire, and the north of England, wealthy men, and by 1910 a growing number of wealthy women, to the poorly concealed irritation of the wealthy men, would gather each year on this date with expensive guns, borrowed enthusiasm, and the unshakable conviction that standing in a low stone shelter called a hide, while other people drove birds towards you, constituted sport in any meaningful sense of the word. The grouse, for their part, had no say in the matter. They were bred in their thousands, managed and maintained on the moor for precisely this purpose. Their numbers carefully controlled, not out of any conservationist impulse, but so that there would always be enough to shoot. They were, in the language of the estate, stock; in the language of the ledger, product; in the language of the men who stood in the hides with their guns raised and their dogs quivering at their heels, they were sport. This is the story of one particular glorious 12th, on one particular moor, in the summer of 1910. It is also, in a sense, the story of every 12th that came before it, 50 years of tallying, and what happens when a tally, long enough ignored, finally comes due. It's been described to me as a ghost story. I'm not entirely sure that is the right word for it, but make of that what you will. The tale begins the night before, with a man called Edward Calloway, lying awake in a guest bedroom on the Harrogate estate in the North Riding of Yorkshire, listening to the moor. So that was A Most Inglorious 12th, the August edition of my Fireside Ghost Stories. There's a completely new story every month, written to be listened to properly, lights down, headphones on, and preferably with nobody sitting immediately behind you. If you enjoy the Christmas ghost stories, Fireside is where that tradition now continues throughout the year. You can subscribe now and get A Most Inglorious 12th, along with the complete collection of Fireside Ghost Stories already waiting for you. So don't wait until Christmas, because the ghosts certainly aren't.